A tough night for the Falmouth Commodores here at Lowell Park, dropping a game to the Cotuit Cavaliers that the Commodores pretty much needed to win for their playoff hopes down the line. Not over yet, but an uphill battle the rest of the way as they drop this by a final of 12-9. Matt Levine and David Hadar here for closing the door. David, tonight again, this Cotuit offense was just incredible. They put up 16 runs on 20 hits last night. Tonight, 12 runs. They scored 7 runs in 1 inning. I mean, they just continued to be the best offense that they've been over the last 5 games.
And with the win tonight, Cotuit has now won 5 straight games, and they have scored 55 total runs over these 5 games. The offense has been the best offense that we've seen all season, and this team is playing its best baseball of the season down the stretch here going into the postseason. Cotuit now just needs 1 win or a Commodores loss to clinch their playoff berth and make it behind Dore in the 2021 season. So a tough night, like you said, for Falmouth tonight. They had a really good fight. They had a really good response tonight. Found themselves behind really early. They trailed 8-0 after just a couple of innings, and they continued to fight back and ended up getting within 3. Brought the tying run to the plate in the in the top of the 9th, but they just couldn't get that one last hit that was needed. Braden Taylor had a hard hit ball to end the ball game, a ball that some fans here thought had a chance to leave the yard. Instead, it was a pop out to center field, and that ended up doing the ball game. But the fight by the Commodores tonight was what really stood out to me, and I know stood out to the coaching staff as well.
And speaking of that fight, this is a team that we talked about all season long could really play every game with the pitching doing well and the hitting not really doing well, or the other way around, and then also giving up a late lead and the offense just goes flat. We've said that so many times. This really feels like the most fight that this team had all season long. It came when it mattered most, too. You go down 8-0, you climb very close, but then Cotuit goes up even more again, come back just a little bit. The Cavaliers scored, but then in that last inning, you score 3 runs, you just continue to pass the torch. It started out with 3 singles in that inning in the 9th, but they just continued to pass the torch, had so much fight. I think you'd agree that as well, that's the most fight that we've seen all summer.
I definitely agree. I mean, this team now has played 33 games on the season, and here in the 33rd, I definitely think that the Commodores had the biggest comeback and almost the biggest fight, like you said, of the season. Like you were saying too, Falmouth found themselves behind 8-0 early in this ball game, and that's a big hole to climb out of. And Commodores were able to slowly chew away at that deficit, but every time that they got runs, Cotuit would come back in the next half inning and would come back and add a couple more runs. And that's part of the reason that this team is just so good, and I really think is going to be a dangerous team if they end up making the playoffs again. They just need another win or a Commodore loss to end up clinching that spot. But regardless of what ends up happening tonight, the coaches, like I was saying, were really impressed. That I know that of the fight that this team had, and I think at the end of the day, although it's a tough loss and a lot of the team was down afterwards, I think at the end of the day, the fact that you're able to see that and show that the team, despite coming into in the top of the 9th, down by 6, they still fought back and made it a closer ball game than it really could have been.
Well, I think the bright spot tonight was the offense for Falmouth. They put up 6 runs, had a lot of hits again, and it was that middle of the order. Armstrong in the 4 spot, Anthony Hall in the 5 spot, Michael Curiali in the 6 spot. All 3 of them tonight had 3-hit games. It's really the first time all summer that we've been able to say that a couple guys had 3 hits in the same game, but in that heart of the order, when it matters most, all 3 of them have been hitting their stride, and that's really a bright spot to see.
It sure is, and I mean that's been part of the reason that the Commodores have also been playing well as of late. The results may not show it, as they've lost now back-to-back games to these Cavaliers, but regardless of what the final line shows, the Commodores, especially those few names that you mentioned, have had such good at-bats as of late, and defensively, too, are also playing really well out there. So all around for this Commodores team, despite it being the end of the year and despite it looking like this team isn't going to make the playoffs, still great at-bats that these guys are putting together, and it kind of ties into the fight that we were just talking about. The coaches know that this team was with their backs against the wall tonight, and despite that, the Commodores came out and had a really solid night at the plate. Just unfortunately for them, the pitching for the Commodores wasn't there as much tonight, and that's evidenced by the 12 runs that Cotuit put up.
So Falmouth has Wareham twice, and then Dore to close out the season. Cotuit has Bourne once and then YD twice to close out the season. Commodores need to win their next 3 games, and Cotuit needs to lose all 3 of theirs in order for Falmouth to make the playoffs. But David, you had the opportunity to catch up with the manager Jeff Trundy after the game, so let's take a look at what he had to say.
Joined now by manager Jeff Trundy. Coach, your team tonight came into the bottom of the 9th and ended up getting the tying run to the plate. You brought a few runs across. Just talk about the fight that this team had, not only tonight, but throughout this season.
I'm just so proud of this group. I really am. You know, I've learned a long time ago you can't judge a group on the scoreboard. And tonight was a great example of that. You know, these guys got behind and got down more than we wanted to be, but they never gave up, never gave in. You know, and as you said, I mean, we were fully aware we had the time run to the plate. And for those guys to do that, I think today showed a lot of character and showed a lot about who they were.
Now, there are still 3 games remaining in this season, and mathematically the team not eliminated from the playoff race yet. We know that Cotuit just needs a win to lock things up, but what is the message you still send to this team with the chance still on the line in the remaining games?
Hey, it's going to be the same message we've used all year long. You know, we're going to go out and compete, we're going to keep getting better, and we're going to enjoy being around each other. And, you know, that's what I know they'll do over the next, you know, the next 3 games. We'll do it tomorrow, the day after, and the day after that, and we're going to enjoy it fully and keep competing.
So that'll do it tonight from Lowell Park. Falmouth drops it by a final of 12-9 to the Cotuit Kettleers, and Cotuit now just 1 win away from reaching the 2021 CCBL postseason. For my broadcast partner, Matt Levine, David Hadar closing the door here, and we'll be on the road tomorrow night at Wareham to take on them.